once again, thank you for watching the Sewing Doctor in New York. This time I have a Juki MO-600DE. This is a great machine. And why it is a great machine? Because this machine do 3-thread, 4-thread. You can also do a pearl stitch on it. And I get requests all the time on how to do a pearl stitch on these machines. And some consumers, they get confused because some machines require an actually adapter to do a Pearl Merrow on this machine. But with a 654DE, 644, 623, any of those three machines, you don't have to add no adjusting anything on it, adding parts to it. Everything is included to it. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a pearl stitch on those Merrows. Like I said, you do not need to get an adapter. And the reason I'm making this video is because then one of my customers who bought a machine here called me saying that she needed it to have the actual adapter to the Pearl Merrow. You do not need it. This machine, everything is included in it, and I'm going to show you how easy. Here we have the machine now. I want to show you. The machine is now in 4-thread. It's making a nice stitch. Now I want to show you here. This one here, we're just going to pull this back, all right? Once you pull this back, you're actually taking away the actually tongue where the actually thread gets wrapped on it, and that's how it makes where the thread goes around, and that's how you get these PY stitches. So when you pull this back, you're taking it off, and the stitches is going to get now much smaller. Now the second thing you have to do in this machine is you got to change the stitch length. So right now I have the stitch length on 3. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to bring it down to maybe 1. Right? After I bring this back and have the stitch length of 1, I am now going to take the left needle out, because you have to have the needle closest to the actually knife for you to be able to get that pearl stitch made. So I took the needle off. I'm going to cut the thread off. Now if I stitch just the way it is now, so now what I did, I go from a 4-thread to a tiny Pearl Merrow. Now you've seen this here, but you could actually change it. Now that I have made the stitch 1, this one here you could leave it on neutral over there. That's not a problem. Now remember, it's important for you to also know that the actually pearl stitch machine, it's mainly made for light material. This is not light. This is mostly for chiffon. Now one thing that you want to do, you want to keep the needle thread on 4, but you want to bring this up. You want to bring it to maybe 6. Let's try it on 6 and see what we get. See what we get now? Look at this, a very nice pearl stitch. Let me make it small stitches. Now, this is a very nice pearl stitch. Look at that, very nice stitch, very small. Compared to what is a really 4-thread serger. You go from that stitch, which is a 4-thread stitch, to this one right here. So nice tiny stitch that you get. And you could go even further. You could change this to 7, and what you're actually doing when you do that, you're actually making the tension a lot tighter. The more the tighter the tension is, the better the stitch you're gonna get. Let me make another sample for you. Look at this, even tighter, much tighter stitch. So by you just taking this back, if I push it back in and I take my stitch length and bring it back to 2.5, and I take this back to 4, if I work now, I'm going to have a regular 3-thread Merrow. A regular 3-thread Merrow. This is what the Merrow is supposed to look. Now, when you do the pearl stitch, you pull this back and you make this tight, you're actually making that thread very, very tight. Short stitch, back to 1, back to 7, pull this back. I'm going to now have again the pearl stitch that easy. I went from regular Merrow 3-thread to pearl stitch by just pulling this out, changing this to 7, and bring the stitch length to 1. See right here, 1. This is, we leave that at standard. The way it is right now, neutral, it's good. 7, you get a nice and tight stitch, just like this one. Look at that, nice Pearl Merrow. And all we did, we just changing this, so you don't need to add any type of attachment or anything to get from Pearl Merrow to 3-thread to 4-thread. Now, if I leave it like that and I add an extra needle, the same thing is going to happen. This is going to get wider. and you're gonna get a much wider pearl stitch. But to keep it simple, I will suggest to just use a 3-thread, standard 3-thread the way it is right now. See, pretty easy. Have it like that. Push this back in, go back to 4, and change the stitch length to 2.5. Changes from here to here without needing any parts. So if you have a Merrow machine, Juki MO-623, 644, 654D, any of the Merrow line, this is what's gonna happen. You're just gonna have a regular 3-thread and a pearl stitch, but you're changing this part. So this is a great machine. The Juki, any of the Juki machines works great. They absolutely beautiful stitches, a very nice machine. So, you know, that's it. You don't need anything else to adjust it and go back and forth. I just wanted to make that video so, because, you know, I have a customer who came in last week or so, and she came to my store actually trying to buy you know, an adapter to do a pearl stitch on the 654DE, and I say no, and she was like, yes, the book says it. I don't know if it says on the book, I don't know, because there's no need for it. The way the machine comes from the factory, that's the way you could do it. I show you, you saw the video, very easy. Just pull back that tongue that does the stitch on it, take the left needle out so you get the narrow stitch, and change the stitches depending on the type of material. Some material you require to pull it to 4, 5, 6, 7. You could pull one up, you could pull one down. It depends. You all change it. You could play with the tensions. It's just that needs to be tied in one side or the other to make a roller. Whatever you want, you could do it on that machine without having to use any adapter. The sewing adapter in here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this could help you in the future. Bye-bye.